everybody, to the Crypto Content Creator Show. I am Jennifer Navarrete, and of course, you know that I am joined by Shane Matha. Shane, welcome everybody to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. You caught me by surprise there. I wasn't expecting that, even with the countdown. Today we have a actually pretty good show. We have a guest. So last week we had Jordan Navarrete telling us about Splinterlands, and then this time around we have Jon G. Olson. Those of you on Hive have probably already seen his posts and followed him on the platform and have been part of some of his work on there, like ClickTrackProfit. I have trouble saying that, kind of like crypto content creators. I have to.
If it starts with a C, Shane's going to have trouble with it. Well, the thing I like about what he's doing is the fact that we think, and what we're doing with our audience is we're taking them through the real world examples, and then here's what we can see on the blockchain that's similar. It may not be exact, but it's similar. An example of that is DBuzz is like Twitter. We think about 3Speak or DTube like YouTube. And so there's examples of what's happening in the traditional sense is also happening in the blockchain. And so I think that's why this interview is going to be so phenomenal. Shane, I'm going to let you take it away.
All right. Actually, we kind of already mentioned Jon G. Olson, who has ClickTrackProfit, and you may have seen him on a show, the CryptoManiacs, with Taskmaster 4450. And can you bring him on real quick? Hello, John. So I know that you've
Hello.
also been on Noise.cash and some other platforms, and so I just want to get your take on people who are starting off on Hive and on the blockchain type of services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I was kind of joking with you earlier, but the reality is everybody thinks that you're an overnight success when you have a big audience, right?
Mhm.
And it probably took you like you said 3 weeks to get popular on
two
Hive?
and a half. Two and a
Two and a half weeks.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. No, it's. I mean, it's. Overnight success takes a decade, right? I mean, I've been building businesses online now for 20 years. And and that's one of the things that I face a lot with people that, come and, hey man, how do you do this? And, this and that and the third. And I'm like, well, the biggest thing is infinite patience. Unless, you've got some crazy hook, or some flashy, something goes viral. At the end of the day, it's grunt work, man. It's showing up every day, doing the little things, being in front of people, and that adds up. And it's not the sexy answer. Like a lot of people want the 2.5 weeks, the 3 weeks. They want that, and that's all they want to invest in it. And then you're a success. So, yeah, it's 2.5 weeks is what it takes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, like in my case, I got frustrated at the beginning, or not frustrated, but just I lost my patience and waiting for my account to build. So I invested. I just put in money just to grow my account. And of course, that doesn't buy you an audience, but it does allow me to issue bigger votes and like that and things like that. Have you been an investor in your Hive account or?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I got started December 2017 on the previous blockchain that shall remain nameless. So I got started, and as soon as I understood it, I was hooked. And I talked to my business partner, Blaine Jones, who co-owns ClickTrackProfit with me. And we were just, it was so fascinating. It was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what the world needs. This is exactly what online entrepreneurs need. This is what content creators need. This just made so much sense. So it took me a month to, reading the blue papers, the white papers, the pink papers, the purple papers, whatever color paper there was. We read it. We got into it. But I didn't really do anything per se for the first month. I was just being a sponge. Then I said, okay, well, the chances of me, just like we were talking about and joking about, 2.5 weeks into this, 3 weeks, where's my big upvotes? Where's my massive whale accounts that should be loving everything I'm doing? I came to realize pretty quickly that wasn't going to happen. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not an investor. I'm not I think I got a really strong C in high school, I was just never, the smartest guy in the world. So what made the most sense to me was dollar cost averaging. So I said, let's just do it. So every single week I would dollar cost average into Hive, whatever the blockchain was called before.
Right.
And I would just slowly stack my Hive Power, and just every single day I just saw it compounding, and I just stay the course. I'd be in front of people, consistent, and before I know it, I'd had 5,000 Hive Powers. Like, how did this happen? Well, you look at it,
Yeah.
that's how it happened. I just kept dollar cost averaging, showing up every day. But then the big thing for me was obviously the hard fork. And when we broke away from now Steam, we'll just call it Steam. When we broke away from Steam, I had a whole bunch of Steam, and I wasn't going to stick around. So I ended up selling it all and pumping it into Hive.
Yeah.
So not only was it I was dollar cost averaging, I did, because I was active. I had all this extra crypto to sell. So Hive Power to me was a no brainer, and it still is to this day. So
Yeah. And I think it's I mean, for me, it's I've continued to invest, especially on Hive Power Up Day, which if you're new to the blockchain, it's every first of the month. Everybody decides to power up whatever they can afford to bring up their accounts a little bit, make them a little bit larger. So let me ask you about the ClickTrackProfit. What was it that you saw in Hive that made it a perfect fit for what you were doing with affiliate marketing?
are you ready for the story? This is
Yeah. Bring
this
it.
is the
Let me
story,
have it.
man. Okay, here we go. Get ready, guys. It's going to be fun. I started trying to build businesses online back in 99, 2000, and I joined this company. You might have heard of it, called PayPal, back in 2001. I was probably one of their first customers ever. 17 years of being in business with them. I bought houses, paid mortgages with all the money I was making through my online business. PayPal was the payment processor of choice. One glorious day in April of 2017, they sent me an email and said, "Your account is shut down. You cannot fight it. You can't do anything about it. Don't even call us." So, of course, I called them. What are you guys doing? I mean, I've been 17 years doing business
Yeah.
with you guys, and you shut us down. So, whatever. I guess they didn't like affiliate marketing. It's PayPal. PayPal does what PayPal is going to do, but it punched me in the gut. My company at that time, we basically were ruined. I lost everything in a nutshell. PayPal and that was my own fault for putting all my eggs in one basket. But I mean, I was 17 years with PayPal as the trusted payment processor. Why was I looking anywhere else?
Yeah.
Long story short.
No
Sorry,
loyalty.
go ahead.
There's no loyalty. Is that?
Yeah,
That's just the whole thing.
they don't care. They don't care,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, so the company that I owned before, when we shut down, we had dabbled in crypto, 2013, 2014. We purchased miners. We were mining Bitcoin. We were mining Litecoin. We were into it, but it kind of like went by the side. PayPal took the rug from under our feet and destroyed our company. So for the better part of 2017, so from April to about September, crypto's starting to build up. I'm still got my ear to the street. I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. This is what we can use. I partnered up with Blaine Jones, who's my partner in ClickTrackProfit now, and we discovered Steam at the time, the Hive blockchain, and it made so much sense. It was like affiliate marketers are told, you got to do content. You got to go out and you got to create content. You got to be in front of people. And we're sitting there going, well, PayPal can pull the rug from under your feet. YouTube can pull the rug from under your feet. Twitter, Facebook, you name it. All of these companies can 1 second say they don't want you and you're done. So you've spent all this time developing your brand, your business, your livelihood on these platforms just to have them pull the rug from under your feet. So Steam, Hive at that time made so much sense to us because it was just like, here is this technology where apps can be built upon it, and it's decentralized. Like, no one owns it. You can't get shut down. I don't need to worry about losing my account on Hive unless I decide to broadcast my account keys everywhere for the world to see. But at the end of the day, it was a smarter move. So for us, we felt that our company, ClickTrackProfit, the perfect fit would be to teach our members who are completely new to crypto, didn't understand it. But the unique thing about this blockchain is that you learn it by actually using it. It's not like, oh, what's Bitcoin? Do I have to buy a full Bitcoin, or can I buy a part of it? I don't understand wallets. Like literally with Hive, you can get in there, roll up your sleeves, and start making comments, posting content, engaging with people, and you get a little kickback every single time. So
Right.
that to us just made perfect sense. So that's why we just started building on this blockchain.
Okay. Do you have a idea of how large your community is on Hive?
The ClickTrackProfit community.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, CTP itself, the website, I mean, it's been around for over a decade now. So the community itself's got over 230,000 members inside of the website. But that, again, there's attrition. If you've done any type of affiliate marketing or online business, you'll know that
Right.
membership sites, it's the flavor of the month. So, people join something, they forget about it. They join it, they forget about it. So we have attrition, just like any, you know, online business membership site. So we've referred probably total, give or take, 500 to 700 people directly to Hive from our members and our accounts.
Mhm.
But it's always growing. We're always creating new training to get people to roll up their sleeves and get involved in this stuff and poke around and actually learn it. And that's what we try to encourage. We encourage people to not just sit back and listen to me talk. We're like, go and do this stuff. Roll up your sleeves, try it out, see what happens. So I'd say between 500 to 700
Okay.
people we've brought into Hive from CTP.
Yeah. So I can say that from experience, from having gone through ClickTrackProfit, that it's very thorough training. You go through so many different aspects of affiliate marketing and
Mm-hmm.
setting up email lists and putting out links and all of that. Even the type of content that you should be putting out there. It's
Right.
very thorough. So I mean that's you can't. I don't think you could go wrong with the account. Uh, but I also noticed that there's a CTP coin. Uh,
Yep.
and how long have you guys had that, and how is it going for you? Is it are people engaging in using it?
Yeah, so it's part of the layer 2 solution that Hive Engine offers. So that going back to when we first discovered this blockchain, one of the
Mm-hmm.
big aha moments for us was the whole promise of SMTs. So tokenizing, and it started like let's build an online marketing forum. Let's do that. Let's pay people in crypto for engaging on the forum, and it morphed into, well, we're telling people to go and blog. We're telling people to create content. We're telling people to engage. Well, we have the option here at Hive Engine to create our own front end and create a blogging platform and
Mm-hmm.
our own token. So it was a no brainer. And the way that CTP, if you've gone through the training at CTP, and something we've been doing for over a decade now at ClickTrackProfit, is we do it in bite-sized pieces of information. So you're never going to watch a 20-minute training video in CTP. It's 5 minutes. The
Yeah.
longest is 7 or 8 minutes. We do that on purpose because we want them to watch the video and then go do something. So the original idea was to watch this video, do something, get a little kickback in the form of crypto. So proof of education. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Proof
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
doing something. Proof of work. I wonder where we've heard that before. But yeah, so it just made sense. It made sense to like, okay, let's get out there and create a blogging platform where we're telling everybody, go get WordPress. Well, if you want to stick to WordPress, we've got this really cool plugin called EXXP, or SteamPress back then, where
Mm-hmm.
you just put the plugin into your WordPress blog, and now you're killing two birds with one stone. Put the CTP tag in, now you're posting content to the CTP platform as well as Hive, as well as on your WordPress blog. So again, it was just like, we just felt that this blockchain was just fantastic for everything we wanted to do for our members.
Exactly. So, sec, you brought up a question, the idea of the second layer solution. The question just went out of my head. Um, uh, I know that there's let me see if I can find another question until that one comes back. It's going to be bothering me for a little bit now.
Oh, it's okay. Always happens,
Uh,
man.
uh, CTP tokens. It was something that you said about. Well, never mind. So, it, I know also that I noticed that you're participating in a lot of other podcasts. You have your own podcast with Taskmaster. Uh,
Hmm.
are these all part of like a coordinated type of approach, or is it just different projects? How do you approach the content creation?
It's an addiction, man. It's total addiction. Well, I mean, it's um, Herb Keller, the old CEO of Southwest Airlines. He had a quote that I absolutely loved. He said,
Mhm.
"We have a strategic plan. It's called doing things." So, as an entrepreneur, I believe big picture. We have timelines, we have plans, the whole nine. But
Right.
I think you really do need to be flexible. So, what we do, and this is really the tradition of CTP for the past decade, is we literally try things, and sometimes it fails miserably. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's actually working in it, and we run with it. The podcast, to me, that kind of like me and Task kind of talked about that because he came to me. He's like, how can I help the CTP tribe? How can I help the token? Because he had some CTP. He wanted to see, he saw me out there doing my thing, so he wanted, how can I help the community? So I was like, well, let's interview you, because I have my shows on Monday and I have my shows on my live streams on Thursday. So I was like, let me interview you on Monday, and that's how you can help. Just coming on board, and you're the number one content creator on the blockchain. It would be great to have you.
Yeah.
So we had a great interview. It was tons of fun. And then he hit me up like that night and was like, dude, we should do this every week. I'm like,
Yeah.
sounds good. Let's do it. And it just came to be. And our angle is this: we love crypto. I love Bitcoin. I love all of the different cryptocurrencies. But my heart and soul is in Hive. All the projects and applications on Hive, the second layer tokens on Hive.
Mhm.
I'm in love with the Hive blockchain. So is Task. So even though
Yeah.
it's CryptoManiacs, it's very Hive focused, and no one's really doing that. Like there's few people here and there, but generally, like, you think of the bad crypto podcasts, right? Joel Com and Travis, right? Like, those guys are very general. They do everything, right? So that's something I learned a long time ago in business is when you try to be the jack of all trades, so
Yeah.
specialized. Like, let's talk about something, just like here, the crypto content creators. It's not the crypto investors show. It's not the
Right.
crypto let's talk about Binance and Coinbase 24/7. No, it's the content creators that are using crypto to do it. I mean, that's niche.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's beautiful. That's what we need to do. So, long story short, yeah, Task hit me up and was like, let's do this. So,
Yeah, I mean that guy's a monster. He's putting out videos every single day and long posts, and it's amazing how he can come up with so many different so much content every single day.
amazing.
It's incredible,
Yeah,
and of
it
course
is.
you don't fall too far behind.
Dude,
uh,
I'm nothing. I mean, it's
yeah,
funny because I always tell people, like, I have
yeah,
my like scheduled, like, my weekly stuff, what I'm going to do. But Task, like you said, he's got like entire long form, like, not 200-word posts. I mean, these are
no, no,
500 to 1,000-word posts. Then he does his 20-minute videos, and it's never repeated content. It's always brand
mm-mm.
new and fresh. And it, yeah,
And on
beast,
top of that,
monster, machine,
yeah, he goes in comments and replies comments and all kinds of stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
he's committed to the platform.
for
Uh,
sure, for sure.
Do you have any other favorite content creators on Hive that you regularly visit?
Well, yeah, I mean, they call me Dan is like my go-to.
Hmm.
I every time, like, my world literally stops when he has a new video out. It's 20 minutes to 30 minutes his videos. It's the best 20 minutes or 30 minutes you can spend listening to a guy who gets it, big picture stuff. I really appreciate a lot of people in the no, I'm biased. Okay, I pay attention to what's happening in CTP. I
Right,
mean, Eliane Icy Gomez does some really cool stuff.
she is pretty
We've
good. Yeah.
got, yeah, Pixie Post. She does amazing stuff too. We got a lot of newer people that are just getting started, getting their feet wet inside of the community. So I'm always paying attention there. But Hive in general, I say, it's like they call me Dan and Taskmaster. We're always, even before I was doing the podcast with Task, it was Task and they call me Dan. I like Dal's stuff. Dal's is really, really good for talking about the blockchain
Hmm.
and everything going on with it.
That's DALZ.
Yep, DALZ. Yep,
Yeah.
and I got to admit, I have an addiction now. and it's got to do with Splinterlands. So
Oh,
I pay attention to a lot of the Splinterlands creators right now. Bulldog 1205, Stealth Trader. These guys are brilliant. Yeah, so I'm just totally addicted to watching all their stuff too. So yeah.
yeah. I was watching your show, your last show, talking about how you've been really doing really well on Splinterlands.
It's
So
bad, man. It's bad.
yeah,
Such
I
addiction.
did have a question also about the community. So one of the things that I like about Hive personally is that it's a very international community. There's
Right.
people from all over the world, and you don't necessarily have to have people. It's not like Facebook where it's your friends and family. And in fact, most of my friends and family aren't even on Hive. They don't
Right.
understand it. And they're not even interested in trying it out. But on the bright side is that kind of forces you to go out and find other people to read their posts or watch their videos and all that.
For
And
sure.
unfortunately for me, I speak Spanish, so it opens up a whole other community. So, uh, what's your international experience with Hive?
Well, I
And
mean, the
yeah,
big thing was going to Steamfest 3. That was in Poland in 2018.
uh-huh.
That was amazing. And you got to meet face to face with the people that are on the blockchain. And just like you said, it's not like we shared similar interests. Our similar interest was the blockchain. Our similar interest was Hive, or at that time Steam. So
Mhm.
seeing all these guys, the top witnesses, meeting them, shaking their hands, they're real people. No one's really got ego. Everyone is just, I love it. I think that's one of the better things about the opportunity here, because it's not cliquish. I mean, yeah, there's the circle of friends, and people will say like there's this secret, group that controls it all, and this, that, and the third. Um, I don't find it cliquish at all. I think if you put in good effort, you put value, and you're genuinely trying to help a community or a tribe,
Mhm.
people will adopt you. And there's no gatekeepers. You don't need a special handshake. You don't need to be in with the cool kids. It's literally show up. If you love what you're talking about, you love what you're producing content about, just you'll find a market and you'll find a community to tap into.
That's right. So, other than CTP, do you go through any other communities frequently?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I
do you have
love
time?
Leo. Yeah. Splinterlands, and Leo. I've been messing with Proof of Brain,
Okay.
just checking out what they're doing. But obviously, I'm a huge fan of Leo. If that's actually, what you asked the question, who do I stop? What other content creators? Anytime Cal puts a post out on Leo, my world kind of stops, and I read his stuff too. So Leo Finance, I love. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Um, Splinterlands, all the stuff going on there. So community wise, I definitely love focusing on that type of stuff. All the entrepreneur stuff, Hive Hustlers,
Yeah,
Logical
Hive
Dude,
Hustlers.
he's doing some really cool stuff right now. I love it all, man, and it's not like even the NFT stuff, the NFT showroom, like the community they're building there, and just it's there's something for everyone here, and I still think it's the best kept secret online. So
Yeah, I think something that Taskmaster said the other day was that we've actually been fortunate that we're kind of flying below the radar. A lot of people
yeah,
haven't caught on to what Hive is doing, and so it's allowed us to get away with a lot of stuff and to build and grow and slowly set things up so that in
yeah,
the
man.
future we'll be powerful. Uh, what's your take on that? Do you think we're under
I
the
love
radar?
it. Yeah, I'm okay flying under the radar. I like kind of showing up and being ta-da, we're here. Okay, I don't want to be too big. Like we saw it. I mean, the scalability of Hive is there, and it will get better. But you saw the slowdowns, you saw the issues with the nodes when Splinterlands went through the roof. So
Hmm.
imagine if we had, and Task always says this about 25 different Splinterlands. If we had 25 different Splinterlands apps on this blockchain, could we scale? And all the smarter people in the room will say yes, but we already saw a little bit of issue. So let's take our time. Let's make sure all of our ducks are in a row. Make sure the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, so that when we do get 25 Splinterlands, people will be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is the best blockchain ever. And, I think that that's still a ways away, but it's getting there. I mean, all the hard forks have led up to this. It's getting better and better and better. And I mean, I don't know how long you've been on the blockchain, but if you remember a couple of years ago, it was like pulling teeth. Trying to just get an account was just, horrible.
I signed up right after a hard fork, and I was left without any resource credits. I had to wait a few days before
Oh,
it built them up for me,
yes.
and
Yes. I remember
I
that one.
couldn't vote or do anything. I just had to wait.
Yep.
And
Yep. That
but
was a
then
couple
after
years ago.
that, once I joined, I saw the price go down, down, down. So
Yeah, I
I've
got
only
in when
ever
it was
seen it at
going
about
up
10 cents.
like an idiot, Oh, well. So it goes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, I mean, now I spent so much time at 10 cents that it's all winning from here on out.
Oh yeah, man, and that's the best thing about dollar cost averaging for me. It's like, oh, you got in when it was $5. It's like, yeah, I got in when it was $5, but I also spent a year and a half when it was at 10 cents. So I was dollar cost averaging at 10 cents too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
it's good. Good job.
yeah.
Jennifer, do you have any questions for John? Can't hear you.
First
Ninja
of all,
kick.
thank you so much. I have to say that you talking about the willingness for folks to be experimental, I'm such a
Mm,
fan of that. I do that in the traditional social media space, and of course, everything that I'm doing in Hive is like a big like experiment for me. And I'm
right.
thrilled that Shane kind of. I also joined Steam back in 2017, but you know what happened? I got in there, I looked at it, it didn't make sense to me, and I left it alone. And so I feel like that is a big regret because had I stuck with it, just imagine, right? And
Mhm.
I'm glad that I'm now looking at this now, and Hive makes so much more sense to me. Steam didn't compute for me, but Hive does. I can totally
Right.
see the communities equal to groups and just how engaged and active everyone is. And you talked about how when you're doing when folks are part of your program, the CTP, that you encourage them to watch a video but then go take an action, do this but go take action. And I'm
Mhm.
also a fan of that. I'm like, this guy is my kind of people.
Well, I
So when you encounter folks who are still have never heard of Hive and are resistant to this, what are some of the words of wisdom you have to kind of convince them to give this a try?
we actually created a program. Well, we've done a few. We did back when it was Steam. We did Steam Savvy, which became the Hive Guide. So it was kind of the CTP model, but we did it specifically for at the time Steam. But now the Hive Guide is like step by step. It's like 4 modules, about 5 to 6 lessons inside the module, step by step hand holding to teach them this stuff. But what we found was there needed to be more. Like just telling someone, "Hey, this is a decentralized blockchain." It's like great. Like who cares? I mean, what does that
Right. You're
mean to me?
speaking Klingon, right?
Right? Yeah. Like yeah. Kapla. There. Sorry, I did a Klingon word there. So yeah. So we said, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell all these online entrepreneurs who are told, no matter where you go, you got to get an Instagram account, you got to get a Facebook, you got to do Twitter, you got to do TikTok now. Hey, you can do Snapchat too if you're in with the kiddies. Whatever works. But let's take what is on the blockchain and use those examples. So back then, instead of Instagram, we told them to go use Epics. Instead of using it was I forget the name of the app on Steam now, but instead of using Facebook, let's use PeakD. Instead of using WordPress, use EXP, the plugin for your WordPress blog. Instead of Twitter, go to Noisecache. And we created this program called Start Earning Today. And the entire goal of it was to replace your everyday social media tools that you use to build businesses, build brands, and just do the blockchain version of it. Don't go to Google and search for stuff. Use pre-search. Don't just post on Facebook. Use PeakD. So that was what we found really helped because that connected it for people. When it was like, oh, not only am I getting, like I've done countless studies on this. You go to Facebook and Twitter, unless you're putting like a picture of your kid up, I don't know about you guys, but I don't get a lot of like I'll get the interaction just because I have followers and stuff like that. But I'll post the exact same content on Twitter and Facebook, and then I'll do a post on Hive. through the roof. Engagement is through the roof. The interaction I get, the followers goes up. So to me, the blockchain based social media stuff, it's a lot easier to make a name for yourself. It's a lot easier if you're using these tools to get people to know, like, and trust you. And that's the solution, right? You want to do business, you want to, make it online, you got to get people to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
So
No.
I think it's a lot easier to do that on Hive than traditional.
I love where you're going with this, and here's why. I did that exact same experiment, and we talked about it in a previous show where I took a picture of, I've been baking bread lately, and so I took a collage photo of the bread baking process, and I posted it on Twitter, and I posted it inside of Dbuzz, and on Dbuzz I made 88 cents, and on
Right.
Twitter, and I got 11 upvotes, and I only have 9 people following me. That's how new I am to Hive, right?
Right.
And on Twitter, I have like over 5,000 people follow me, and I got 3 likes and no cents. And so
Yeah,
it's a
and
real
yeah,
easy win.
yeah, and Jack gets your money, right? I mean, he gets your content, and he can trade the Twitter stock on the stock market and make all the money. And meanwhile, that's the Social Network movie, right? Where it said, like, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product,
Yep.
and your content is worth something. It's worth something to those companies that are taking it and selling it and repurposing it and serving ads to you because of it. So why not get your 88 cents? And you own the content, and
Mhm.
everyone wins. So to me, it's like, again, a no brainer. But it's a tough sell for, just like you said. It sounds like it's Klingon for a lot of people. Like, what are you guys doing there? Like, go, what is an upvote? Why do we need a memo key? What's an account key? Like, it's so many different layers to this where it's got to be stupid simple for people. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of guys that are developing stuff. I know 3Speak is doing a lot of stuff with the accounts light, where it's just they can sign up for, with a Facebook account or a Twitter account. That will help. That will help big time, because people don't necessarily care yet if it's decentralized or not. They just want to use it. So the easier you make it to use, the more people will use
I
it.
think you mentioned 3Speak, and it reminded me about that they're coming out with a app where you be able to host your own content. And then in that case, you don't really have to worry about being taken off the platform, or anybody censoring your content, because you own a copy on your computer and you serve it out, and it gets repeated through IPFS. And
Yep.
I find that personally, I find that exciting as far like the content creation, because people on YouTube, they have to worry that someday YouTube's going to think, well, I don't like this guy, and they just cut you off, kind of like you got cut off with PayPal. By the way,
Yeah.
I got cut off by PayPal once as well.
Man, I have never been cut off by PayPal. I feel like
No.
I'm missing out on some kind of private club here.
Yeah, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It
Yeah,
just, yeah. Anyways, I've gone on rants about PayPal. I'm like, oh, we're
yeah,
getting into
and
crypto. Oh, are you now, PayPal? Oh, okay, that's great.
yeah, and I think they even threatened to take the money straight out of my bank account. Fortunately, I didn't have the money, but otherwise, they would have run off with some of my cash. And part of
They're
it was because anybody could complain. At the time, I was selling stuff on eBay, and anybody could complain. But anyways, so
Mm.
back to 3Speak. Is that uh, I was talking to Jennifer, and she was reminding me about DTube. Uh, do you see these two services complementary as far as like content creation? Should you be posting on both, do you think, or do you need to kind of pick one?
I mean, I was a huge fan of DTube. I met the guys who created it at Steamfest 3. Really
Hmm.
good guys, and everything was great. DTube always supported me. It's just I was just blind loyalty, and maybe that's a blessing and a curse. I was just blind loyal to Hive. So DTube, you can still post, on Hive with DTube, but they were trying to do their own thing with their own token, their own blockchain, and
Hmm.
then still being on Steam. So to me, it was just like, I don't want to post to Steam. So if I'm going to use, why would I just? I'll just use 3Speak. It's on Hive. I don't need to overthink it. So I got nothing but good things to say about DTube. I just said there was no point in me doing on DTube,
Hmm.
because it was going to post to Hive, it was going to post to Steam, and I didn't really want to send anything to Steam, so I just stuck with
Gotcha.
3Speak. So, But
Yeah.
yeah, but there's nothing. If people want to post to Steam, go ahead. I mean, do whatever you're gonna do. I just, me myself, I'll go down with the ship, man. It's blind loyalty. So if Hive
Yeah.
tanks, I'm going right down with it. So.
Yeah. Well, what they call the Lindy effect. The longer that Hive survives, the more likely it's going to keep on going, keep on trucking. So,
I hope so. Yeah, man.
yeah. So I
That's
think we've
amazing.
passed a good line. Yeah.
Hmm.
All
Okay,
right.
so
So,
wait, I
but
have one more thing to ask
sure.
you. Okay, so if you could go back to yourself before, so more than a decade ago, right?
Mhm.
And you probably would tell yourself to do it. But what misgivings did you have? Did you have any misgivings? Because so the Crypto Content Creator Show, we're really trying to make it easy for folks, very much like what you said, to understand that you can create content on the blockchain and get rewarded for it. And
Right.
so we're very simpatico in that. And we're trying to kind of baby step people in, because for me, I'm learning. Shane's been doing this longer than I have. And so he's got a lot more knowledge and breadth of experience. But as I'm learning, I'm hoping that I can take people along with me. But if you could go
Mhm.
back, I mean, what were your misgivings? I mean, really, because these are the misgivings that people have now.
Well, the big thing for me is I would have definitely taken crypto when I first learned about it a little bit more serious. I got into it right at the golden time. Like, that was the perfect time to be in it. We were mining a Bitcoin a day back then. I mean, and of course, it was never going to go over $500. So let's sell at 500.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no regrets because we did buy in around 100. So we were mining Bitcoin at about 100. It went to 500. So we 5x'd our money, whatever. But the point is like, when I discovered this stuff, when I learned about it, there were so many aha moments going off. And for some reason, I ignored it over time. Even though every single time I learn about it and I watched the documentary about it, I read a book about it, it made so much sense to me. For some reason, life happened. I was just, I don't need to worry about this. And that kind of bit me in the butt, because then I come back in 2017 when everything's going through the roof, and there's that 2017 bull run that went crazy where it almost got to 20K. And now everyone's kind of, not everyone, but a big chunk of people are paying attention now to crypto. So my going back in time thing would be, take this stuff a little bit more serious and always learn it. Like, every day trying to learn a little bit more. You don't need to become a computer genius or a PhD in computer science to figure this stuff out. Just every day chip away so that you're always growing, you're always learning a little bit more, and don't be afraid to take a few chances, because that's where I didn't. I was just sitting back. I was relaxed. I was comfortable, and PayPal will never do anything to me. And then PayPal did that to me, and I ignored the crypto for a few years. So that's what I would do. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, because I think for folks now, I mean, even right now, Bitcoin's in the 40s, right? And we've seen it, up in the 60s, and then it came back down to like 20 something, and now it's kind of in that mid range. A lot of
Right.
folks may think they missed the boat, and because maybe they're hearing about it now, but the reality is, even now, you have not missed the boat. There is still a
No.
boat there. And just because you weren't there 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, however long, doesn't mean that the boat isn't still there for you. And so I kind of want to use this opportunity to encourage folks that if you're hearing about it, you've been sitting on the sidelines, you're not quite sure, it's a great space to join at any time. Obviously, the sooner that you join, and now is a good time. What's the whole thing about the tree? When's the best time to build it? 20 years ago. When's the next best time to build it? Right now. So
Yep.
build
Yep.
your crypto tree and start now. And I think what you are doing with CTP is phenomenal, because you are baby stepping folks and holding their hand and getting them where they need to go in a safe environment, so that way they don't feel overwhelmed, because crypto, the blockchain, it's overwhelming. So if
Oh
you
yeah.
can find someone who can baby step you there, go there. Get baby stepped, but learn it and be willing to dive into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a question similar to hers, but let's flipping it around. Based on what you know, and I don't know if you know any of the developers that are working on Hive. What do you think will be in 10 years that excites you about Hive that
Ooh, a crystal ball
we
moment.
could
Let's
have?
go.
Yeah. I mean, and to kind of to emphasize that it's not too late to join. I mean, it's still early days because, again, we've been flying under the radar.
Yeah.
So it's a great time to join.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, the best time to get started was 10 years ago. Next best time is today. And
Mhm.
a lot of people, I think, miss that. And they're so worried about, oh, I should have got in when it was $1. It's like, it's not going to happen. So now is the time. And
Mhm.
for Hive, it's still under $1. Now, will Hive go to $40,000 each? Probably not. That makes no sense. But
Yeah,
it can 10x, it can 15x, it can 20x. It can do that stuff because we've already seen it do that stuff in 2017. So the crystal ball moment for me is where I see the applications, the games. I think gaming is going to be huge on the
I
blockchain.
agree.
Like Axie Infinity, Splinterlands, all these things are just, oh my gosh. It's just, I feel like a kid at Christmas thinking about what's coming. And
Mhm.
if you're in it now, it's not too late. That's the 10-year crystal ball. Get into the Splinterlands now. Don't worry about, oh, I didn't have that gold foil legendary and everyone else got all. Don't worry about that. Get in there now, because in 10 years from now, it might not be Splinterlands, but something from Splinterlands, the DNA of it will be there. And if you have your ear to the street and you're paying attention, you're always looking at this stuff and using it and playing with it and figuring it out, you'll be there when the next Axie Infinity launches, when the next Splinterlands launches, when the next Three Speak launches, when the next Leo Finance launches. You'll be
Mhm.
there when you're actually involved. So sitting on a sideline, this is not a spectator sport. It's a, you got to put on the gloves, you got to put on the shoes, you got to get in the game. And 10 years from now, if you do that now, you're good. I mean, I don't, death and taxes, the only two things you can guarantee.
Right.
I guarantee, with an asterisk beside it, that 10 years from now, if you get involved now, you'll be pretty happy.
I love it.
Exactly.
Crystal ball
So
moment.
my
Let's
last
do it.
Yeah. My last question is I've noticed like for my own posting that when I put a lot of work and like these really long posts and research and
Mm.
do all kinds of stuff that doesn't fly over very well. And I think I seem to
Right.
connect better when it's just me being myself. Just being honest and open and about what's going on in my life. Uh, and that seems to get the most response as far as content that I put out there on Hive. Uh, what gets you the most engagement in your own experience?
I mean, it's really interesting because sometimes I'll do a post where I think like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and I'll get like 10 comments, right? And then
Mhm.
sometimes I'll do just something fly by night, and I'll end up getting 50 comments. There doesn't seem to be a pattern. It
Okay.
seems to be um, that given the audience at some given time, something connects with them. To me, it's just you never. This is why it's so important to constantly be doing something, because on the blockchain it's so new. Like, you could get all the metrics for the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the Twitters, and you could know this time of the day, this time of the week, this day of the week, you want to tweet. You're going to see the most engagement when you send an email on Tuesdays at noon, et cetera, et cetera. You got that because it's so old, and there's plenty of data to support that stuff. Blockchain is still pretty new. Just like you said, Shane, there's not like an inside click. It's very the community is just spread out everywhere, no matter the country of the world, the
Mhm.
niche topics, whatever. It's so diverse that the best strategy for me is just to constantly be in front of people. And one time you'll start getting tons of upvotes and tons of comments on a post you didn't think it was going to get that. But if you're again sitting on the sidelines, you'll never see that. So the important thing for me is just always be creating, always be engaging. If I don't want to write, I don't really know what to write about, go to things like Leo Market Talk, go to things like CTP Chat. These are daily forum based posts where you don't need to write War and Peace. You can just go and interact with people, make a comment on what they're talking about, get into the discussion, and you never know what'll happen. So that's my answer to that. Would be like, don't get too hung up on what does and what doesn't get the high engagement. The important thing is what you can control. You can control the stuff you're putting out there, and then how much of it you're putting out there. And if you're doing it once every blue moon, it's not going to work. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
No, that's phenomenal. Such words of wisdom. I mean, there were some nuggets in there that I'm like, I'm going to make a quote graphic of that. I'm going to pull that out and make an audiogram.
Repurpose. That's what I tell everyone. That's actually, we did it. We did a live stream last night, and I mentioned Eliana, one of the content creators on CTP. She literally, after the live stream was done, had created a little infographic of the quotes that me and Blaine were going back and forth on, and she did a huge post today about it. So I'm all for repurposing. Like, find that stuff and go and just put it out there. Like, just put it out there. See what happens.
Yeah. And with tools like Canva and available, it's very easy to make it look attractive and nice for people to share and reshare. It's a
absolutely
good idea, and I think that's one of your
Canva's
lessons in there
made me
to
look like
repurpose.
Picasso,
Oh,
All right. Well, gosh, so many
uh,
gold nuggets, Jon. You're
yeah.
amazing. I'm so glad that Shane invited you and that you made the time to visit with us and share your nuggets of wisdom from your decade of being involved in the crypto content creation space. Where can folks go to get connected with you? Because after this session, they're going to want more of you.
Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all, I mean, this is, my life was crazy the past month being on the road, moving my family from the East Coast of Canada back west. So it was a gong show. So I'm glad I actually got here. But what didn't you ask me what I would change? I would have changed my username when I joined Hive, because Jon G. Olson, I have been called Jon Go, Jon Golson. Every name under the sun except for Jon G. Olson. So I would have just removed the G if I would do this all over again. But yes, my account on Hive is Jon G. Olson. The ClickTrackProfit account is also on Hive at ClickTrackProfit. And ClickTrackProfit.com is the website for our sites. We have a whole bunch. StartEarning.today, thehiveguide.com, Jon_G_Olson on Twitter. I'm just like, I'm everywhere. I'm trying to be like the wind, just always there for everyone to take in and enjoy. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Folks, you've got to get connected with this guy. He is amazing. He obviously has figured it out. And if you want to be like the wind like him and be everywhere, you've got to follow everything that he is doing.
Be like the wind. Yes. There's a quote right there. Be like the wind.
Be like the wind. Yeah. Isn't that a song by... Oh, She's Like the Wind is the song.
My goodness.
I remember that song. I remember that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I do appreciate you making the time, and Nick. I have a gajillion questions, but I think we can probably put those on Hive and earn some likes along the way.
For sure.
So, thanks a lot for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right. Good night.
Oh my goodness, Shane, that was so amazing. I am like enthusiastic right now. I want to go grab strangers in the street and tell them that they've got to be on Hive and that they've got to be on the blockchain. I was excited about starting the Crypto Content Creator Show because I thought, hey, this is a really great opportunity. But learning more about what Jon is doing and has been doing, I'm even more enthused than I was before. I don't know if I'm going to get any sleep. I think I should make a pot of coffee.
Yeah. So I get like that sometimes. I'll stay up till way past my bedtime. But I mean, he's right. I mean, just keep creating content. And the thing is that you're, like you said, he wasn't an overnight success. It's taken him years to get to where he is now. And I mean, part of it is crypto content creation, like what we're doing here, but also part of it is because he's investing, not just time and effort, but he's also investing, dollar cost averaging into Hive, and that also pays off. But that's another show for business talk. Today we're talking about crypto content. Did we have? I don't think we had any stats. I didn't check. I'm sorry for the blog this week.
Not this week, no. We'll catch everybody up on next week's show because I'm just too jazzed right now to go look at our data. I'm like, I got to get off of here. I need to go create some content like right now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But thank
Well,
you all
well,
for
let me stop
joining
you.
us. No, no, no. Thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.